I'm going to take you through the social media marketing process. And this is quite an intricate process. It's going to look a little bit scary once this all populates. But again, I'm going to take you through each of the steps. And this is essentially going to explain to you the different stages that we as a business and a marketer take you as the user through in order to get you from just a regular consumer into being a buying customer. And that's how we're going to take you through in the social media marketing process. And in order to, when we talk about social media marketing and the process that we use, it's not just Facebook, Instagram. There's actually a massive digital ecosystem that social media and the channels that you know of actually play and integrate and connect with in order to function fully as a massively kind of, flowing funnel and a marketing process. So we start off with traffic. These are some key traffic sources that we tap into in order to get us into the next stage. Oh, sorry. Let me go back. Why is this not populating? There we go. Tech troubles. We have traffic we have different sources of traffic that drive through to either a website or a lead magnet landing page. So think about it. You're on Facebook, you might see an ad, or you might see a post, or you might see a Google ad, or you might search for something on Google, or an email. And I'll take you through all of these elements shortly. And then what happens is that flows people through to either a landing page or a website. Then we're going to talk about how, if people don't necessarily take action here, that how we can retarget those people back into the landing page and the website. But then what we're going to do is funnel them down into the next stage to convert them and move them onto a product page. Then we use retargeting again to help kind of push that message through into the product page. Then we convert again at a checkout page, use some retargeting to get people to purchase. And then we have a thank you page with an upsell page. So at the moment, this looks like a whole bunch of gobbledygook on a page. And I'm going to take you through how this actually all works and how you can convert people from being likes on social media engagement, how we actually convert that, and the role that social media marketing plays to convert people into customers. And so that you can demonstrate as a social media marketer the return on investment for a business. Because I think the biggest problem that business owners face, especially at times like this where budgets are really tight because things like coronavirus are happening, right? We're in a time where marketing budgets aren't as big anymore. And you as a social media marketer will need to justify to your employer, your client, whoever it is that you work for, if you own your own business, how can you actually justify the investment, the resources, whether that's man hours, like your man hours or other people's man hours, but also ad spend and time and, all of the investment that you put into social media marketing. You need to prove to somebody that it's worth it. And this is going to show you how to do that. So first, we're going to talk about the product, service, and message. So when it's time to get started to monetize your social media, there are really three things that you need to understand. Firstly, you need to understand what you're selling. So for instance, that could be a product. That could be the shoes, right? That could be the runners. It could be a service. So the product, what you're selling, could be like a gym membership, or it could be a message. Your business model might be the government. It could be the New South Wales health government, right? And they want to encourage people to do more exercise. So the first thing that you need to understand when you are putting activity into social media marketing is what is it that you're selling? So a message is something that you're selling. We're always selling, right? We're selling someone on an idea. We have a conversation with someone where we're sharing our opinion. You're essentially selling someone on your perspective. So by understanding what you're selling, that is super important. That's all going to lead to money, even the message, because that's going to help you understand what success looks like. And it's going to help you ensure that you're communicating the right metrics and the right results to your employer, to your client, whoever it is that you are doing the social media marketing for. The next thing that we need to understand is a thing called customer lifetime value. Now, customer lifetime value is something that is super important to understand. That's not to say that somebody buys, if we use the sneakers as an example, that somebody purchased the sneakers, their customer lifetime value isn't necessarily the cost of the sneakers, right? It's if they bought the sneakers and you know, for instance, that any new customer that comes into your business on average purchases about 7 times, and the average cost, the average cost of the basket, the average basket value, and then the average profit that you get per customer could be, so if we use the sneaker example, and I'm going to say 10 purchases, for example, let's say they buy 10 over their lifetime, they'll buy 10 purchases with you at a cost of $70. And for each pair of sneakers, you earn $35 profit. You can then calculate the amount of value that you get from a customer. So it's not just from that purchase that you get that first time, it's actually the lifetime. Now, this differs per business. If you are a gym, for instance, that customer lifetime value looks different because the business model is you're paying a subscription every month. For an e-commerce store, that looks different because you're selling a product. But then think about it. How many times do you go back to the same store, right? And so understanding numbers is super important when you do this activity, because it's going to help you with numbers and budgets and things like that. So again, here's the example. So gym shoes, $80 gross profit, 4 purchases in a lifetime. This isn't every customer. This is the average, right? Gives you a $320 CLV, customer lifetime value. And with the gym membership, it's $100 per month. And on average, they stay for 24 months. So you will earn $2,400 from them over their average lifetime. Some people will cancel before, some people will stay longer. This is the average. Now we've got this thing called the social media formula. Traffic. Traffic is the methods at the beginning of that document that I showed you, all the different methods that we use to drive people to your site. So the number of people that come to your site multiplied by the conversion rate equals your customers. So by conversion rate, if we have 100 people that come to your site and say 10% convert, that's a 10% conversion rate. So then that helps you in terms of understanding the number of customers that is going to come through. So at the moment, I'm talking a lot of numbers, right? And you guys are used to things like being creative on social media and wanting to do engagement and things like that. When we work with social media, we really need to understand numbers, because that is what is going to help us with things like reporting and to understand what success looks like. So let's start with the beginning of that document that I showed you. And the first thing was traffic. Now, in those icons above in that diagram that I showed you at the beginning of the presentation, these were some of the traffic sources. Now, one of them is organic search. Now, think about how you interact with the internet. If you were looking for car insurance, what you would do is you would type in car insurance into Google. And when you get the results, you actually get served up with some ads. And you may or may not notice it, but when you get your Google results, as you can see in this example on the screen, those first 4 results are ads. And you can tell that they're ads because you'll see there's a little kind of ad that sits behind that green copy, and that is paid, and we'll cover that in a sec. But then you get to organic search rankings. And in that red box, that covers what the organic search rankings are. So people sometimes focus their business on ranking highly in organic search because people who are listed usually on the first page of Google get high volume of traffic. So you would, as you're Googling car insurance and you find these listings, and by being on the first page of Google is super important because I, as a user, will likely click on any one of these results. And so organic search is something where you do not pay to be listed, whereas the ads are where you pay. It's an ad. So paid search, using the same example, are the first 4 listings at the top. Sometimes it's 3, sometimes it's 2, depending on the words that people are paying for in the auction process. That is what will show. So Qantas Car Insurance, for instance, has paid for an ad placement that when people type in car insurance, their website gets listed. And in this other example, you can see that if you said, say, buy television, sometimes you'll get these little product listings, right? The Google Shopping product listings. These are also sponsored in that top corner. If you look at the top right-hand corner with that red box, you can see that they're ads. And that's another way that you can drive traffic to your site. So you see the ad, you click on the ad, and it takes you to the website, right? People are coming to your website via these different methods. And then there's this other example at the bottom with the Google business listing, where if you type in, the search term, you can actually see the business listing, and you might click on that sometimes. I usually tend to do that when I'm looking for restaurants, right? I will type in a local cafe, and I tend to find these because I love looking at the reviews, and that for me helps me pick the one that I want to use. So the next sources of traffic that we're going to cover are things like organic social. Now, this is something that you're probably most aware of. So if you were running someone's Facebook page, for instance, a business's Facebook page, and you post on your Facebook page, that is organic social. So you don't put any money behind it. It gets presented to people who are following your page. And usually with a lot of these platforms, it doesn't get shown to everybody. And you would hear terms about things like organic reach might be going down. So back in the old days when Facebook first started and when Instagram first started, you would put a post on your Facebook page, on your business's Facebook page, and everyone used to see it. And it was so new and everyone would like it and everybody would comment because it was such a new platform. But as the platforms get busier and more popular, it's become very competitive. And what's happened is the social media platforms have created things called algorithms. And so you hear the algorithms term being thrown around. And these algorithms are ways for Facebook and Instagram and LinkedIn to present posts to you as a user based on the things that you like. Because from their perspective, they want you to stay on those platforms as long as possible. But as a business, that means if your posts aren't really resonating with the audience, or they're not highly engaging, or people don't really want to engage with them as much anymore, you will see a drop in the reach of people and the number of people that see your posts. But organic social is super important. And this is where the terms like engagement come into play. So ensuring that the content you produce and the posts you put on your pages are speaking to your audience, understanding who you're talking to, and rather than just selling all the time, you're offering something of value or offering something that's entertaining or engaging. And that's going to help people in terms of liking your post if they like what they see, or they might comment on your post, and all of that feeds into these algorithms. And the more that people engage with your posts, the more you get rewarded and the more people get to see your post. And that's why there's this kind of never-ending cycle of having to put a lot of effort into the types of posts that you post on social media, and then getting this reward of extra reach, right? It's essentially, that's the free marketing. So the more people that see your posts, and if you're setting up your posts correctly, you're not just showing them what you had for breakfast. You're actually showing them something of value and then telling them what to do next, putting in what we call a call to action. Then the user will see that post and then click on something, a link, or they'll navigate over to the website. And so that's a traffic driver for us. And then the other one, which you're very familiar with, are things like paid social, We've got the example here of Facebook ads, but you know, there are Instagram ads, there are LinkedIn ads, there are YouTube ads. So paid social is where you would put essentially an ad, right? Like something that's selling something into that placement, and you pay to get it out to your audience. Now, sometimes when you see these ads, they're really direct, right? They're blatantly selling something. But people they're getting a lot more used to seeing ads, and they're getting used to blocking out ads. So now we need to think about what we put into our ads, still making them engaging, still speaking to our audience, so that when our audience sees them, they actually want to read the ads. But this is a placement in terms of you pay money to put your ad out into the internet, into presenting it in front of your audience. So that's why Facebook ads, Instagram ads, even Snapchat ads are super important in terms of being a traffic driver to your website. So here's some examples of organic social. So we're talking about business pages on Instagram. We're talking about the stories that you see on Instagram. LinkedIn, organic content, and that could be from a business, from a person who's, say, wanting to establish themselves as an authority. From Twitter, that could be from a person, or that could even be from a business Twitter page. Same with Facebook, right? Businesses have Facebook pages. And then when we look at paid social, this is where we can have a bit more control over the post. So when we are paying for the placement, the ad, we can add things like call to action buttons, right? This is where we're saying, okay, you see this, oh, yep, love this product, get a little bit of a description, shop now. That is actually linked to your website, and that allows you to drive traffic to it. Now, if we go back to the organic social side of it, you can put links out to pages. See, like on Instagram, there's a link in bio, and you'll see LinkedIn's very restrictive with links, right? You can't put links in your posts. But when you have enough followers, you get the swipe up feature. And then on LinkedIn, it's usually when you're wanting to establish yourself as an authority, you might just be sharing content. But you could actually put in a website there if you want to drive people to that next step. Same with your Facebook page. But with paid social, you have more control. You can actually put call to action buttons and really help push people through to the destination that you're wanting. Right, so I've left this little exercise in the presentation because I think it's going to be super useful, but instead of sharing the results, I just want you to do this really quickly. If you happen to have your phone in front of you, or if you're watching this on your desktop, you can kind of minimize this screen for a second. And I want to show you an example. So I want you to open up your Facebook newsfeed. Don't sit there and read about, who went to the beach today or anything like that. This is just a quick little exercise where I want you to open up your Facebook feed, and I want you to find a sponsored post. So I'm going to show you what that looks like. So all sponsored posts have the word sponsored under them, right? These are the ads, right? But these don't, because these are organic posts. So I want you to open up your Facebook feed. You can even do it in Instagram. And I want you to, but I think with Facebook will be better because the actual, the targeting and why you're seeing the ad is actually going to be communicated. But if you open up your phone and open up your Facebook feed, I want you to scroll through till you find the next sponsored post in your feed. Now, for me, that is an ad for a girl called Grace Lever. Now on that ad, on the right-hand side of that ad, there's 3 dots. We call that the ellipsis. Now, if you click on the ellipsis, you're going to get a few options. Now, if you're on your phone and you're on the Facebook app, it's the 4th one down and it says, why am I seeing this ad? And it's going to open up a window for you. Now, this is going to show you the power of the targeting that can be used when we have ads. So when we have organic social media posts, those posts only go out to people who follow us. And based on the posting schedule that we do over time, more and more people will follow us. But when we place an ad, we can actually control who's going to see our ads. We're not going to just put it willy-nilly out into the internet on Facebook. If you are a business that is a gym, you might want to post your ad and make sure that people who have an interest in health and fitness see it. If you have a bricks and mortar store, you can actually say that you only want your ad to be displayed to people within a certain radius of your business. So there are lots of different ways that you can control who's going to see your ad. That can be based on interest, it can be based on location. When it comes to Facebook, this is literally a masterclass in itself in terms of targeting, Facebook targeting capabilities. But what it shows you is that you can start to find people who are your ideal customer and place an ad in front of them so that they can come to your website. So this is a really powerful traffic driver to your website. When you open up that, why am I seeing this ad? You're going to see essentially, why are you seeing this ad? So the person or the business wanted to find you because, and for my example, Grace Lever wanted to reach people who may be similar to their customers. So she knows who her customers are, and she thinks that I'm similar to her customers. She's also trying to reach females aged 21 and older, and she wanted to reach people whose primary location is Australia. So that's really, really powerful, because this particular girl, she doesn't want to reach men. That's not who her target audience is. So think of how different this is from booking a radio ad that goes out to everybody. You can be really targeted here. And it means that the traffic that comes to your site is going to be more closer to your ideal customer, and therefore more likely to buy your product because what you're offering is appealing to them. So normally I'd get you to share your findings, but there's, I think, over 300 of you. So that's just a really interesting way to see the power of targeting. Now, the other traffic drivers that we're going to look at are things like email, referral, and direct. So email, you guys get them every day, right? I don't know about you, my inbox is full of them. I sign up for newsletters and I sign up for this, and sometimes I don't know what I sign up for, but my inbox is jam-packed full of emails from businesses. And this is going to help, and they do this because this is going to help drive traffic back to their website. So a lot of the time I'm getting, it's a sale, right? You click on the banner in the ad and it takes you to the website, right? That's a tactic that they use to get me to go to their website. Am I going to go and check their website every day just in case they have a sale? Nope. They're going to use the email to do that. Then the other tactic that people use to drive traffic to site are things called referrals. Now, this is a little bit less obvious than an ad. And that can be done through a number of ways. It can be done through, you'll start to see this more and more on Instagram. You'll see these things called paid partnerships. This is how influencers make money, right? So they partner up with somebody and they'll do a promo. And by doing the promo on their Instagram, you might see, let's just say she's selling the red hat. She's modeling the red hat. I see that and I'm like, I want that red hat. That's going to make me go to that business's site. Other ways that you get referrals are things like you might see a blog article, right? Where they're talking about how to fix a particular problem that I happened to be having at the time. And then what they do is they link in the blog or they link in the article, a reference. It could be an example of someone who was able to solve my problem. And a lot of the times these are hyperlinks that link back to the website. So sometimes, users will click on these and that will take people to the website. And then there are other ways through different recommendations and blogs through paid editorials where they might go, hey, it's like the 10 stylish hotels in New York. And then they'll list the 10 stylish hotels of New York and you happen to be looking for hotels in New York, and then it will go to that hotel's website. All of these are traffic drivers, and this is super important. If you don't have traffic coming to your site, the rest of it doesn't work. So then there's direct. Think about the times that you just go to the browser and you know exactly the website that you're wanting to get to. You literally just type it, www.socialmediacollege.com. You know exactly where you want to go. That is called direct traffic. Right, so that's me explaining the top section, right? That's traffic, driving traffic to your site. Now we get to the site. What next? You've driven all this traffic through all these means and you've taken them to your website. Now this is where you're going to present them with what it is that you sell. That can be through a website or that can be through a landing page. They're kind of the same, but they're different. A website is like the whole digital home. And for e-commerce sites specifically, this would be, you'd usually drive traffic to the entire site. The iconic, right, you would drive them to the traffic site. But if we think about service-based businesses especially, they tend to use things called landing pages. And I'll tell you why. If you're not an e-commerce site where website optimization is super important, you could be an accountant. You could be a software platform. And your website has lots of information on it that when somebody comes to your website, they actually don't know where to go, because there's the staff page, there's the About Us page, there's the careers page. There's so many different pages that are not relevant. But if you're driving traffic to your site, you really just want them to go to one page because you want them focused. You don't want them going to all these other pages. You want them focused on this one page, on the offer. And some people do this because they want to offer something called a lead magnet. So if you're an accountant, or in this case, it could be, landing page design company and software, things like that. The way that you can drive traffic to your site is by offering a lead magnet, which could be like, have you ever received those ads where it's like, download our report and you'll get this? It's something that you offer for free. And so rather than sending them to the homepage of the website where they have to go navigate all of these different pages, they're just going to send them to the landing page, because then all they have to do, all the user has to do, is put in their details and hit submit, and there's nothing else that's going to distract them. That is why people create landing pages, because it helps the user to just focus on what it is that they need to do and not get distracted by all the other pages. Whereas on an e-commerce site, all the other pages are product. So, you don't really mind if they go hunting around your website because they're really looking at product. Whereas a landing page is something where you don't want them to get distracted. You just want them to see the one message. And it could be an offer to book a call. It could be an offer to download a PDF or a report. But a landing page is a great way for you to capture people's details. Now, this is super important, because when you capture somebody's details, especially their email address, you own that. When you're posting on social media, you have to, you're up against the algorithm and, ad placements and things like that. And if Mark Zuckerberg tomorrow was to change the rules, you have to figure them all out again. So they definitely have a place, but then the whole purpose is to drive people here so that you can not only capture their details, but what we're going to talk about in a second is you get to pixel them, right? You get to start tracking them. So when they come to your landing page and they come to your website, because you own these, right? All the traffic driving sources you don't own, you own these destinations, you can start tracking them. And I'll touch on that tracking bit in a minute. So if we talk about a lead magnet, where I talk about a PDF or booking a call or something like that, a lead magnet is something of value that you will offer people when they come to your website. So think about it. It could be like the top 10 reasons, the top 10 tips to get followers on Instagram. And if you sign up for this newsletter, for this particular example, you might get a discount on your website. It's something of value. So when the user will actually give you their contact details, you give them something of value, whether that's a gift voucher, a discount voucher, a PDF, or even a video. You give them something of value in return. And there's so many different examples. And now think about all the different times you've seen ads where it could be an ebook or a white paper. Even signing up for somebody's newsletter is considered a lead magnet, because in the newsletter you tend to get exclusive offers and things like that the general public don't really get. If you have a business that's educational based, it might be free training or a case study. A lot of lead magnets are things like quizzes. If you've ever taken a quiz, that's considered a lead magnet, because if you've noticed, in order to get the results from the quiz, you have to submit your details, right? They're like, give us your email address and we'll send you the results from the quiz. They do that as a way to capture their details, because once people come to your website and what they see doesn't interest them at that time, and then they go, you've wasted that traffic. You need to find a way to keep contacting them. And that's why lead magnets are so important. So there's some examples here around competitions and discount codes and event registrations. And now you're most probably thinking about all the things that you've signed up for with your contact details. And now you know why you're getting all the emails and you're getting ads from these people now. And that's why. So here's some more examples. Become your own boss and spend time with, ones you love. This is a mini course that they're doing here. If you put in your email address, you will get this free mini course. And then on this right-hand side, you get to access their top 10 articles. Again, give us your email address. Sure, and in return, we're going to give you access to top 10 articles. So they're giving something of value so that they can get your contact details. So now we have these contact details. What do we do with them? So again, as I mentioned, when somebody gets to your website, let's just say they get to your website and they don't buy on that first visit. You don't want to have to go to the trouble again and again to bring more people to your website only for them to drop off. I don't know about you, but I have to kind of be reminded a few times before I actually do something. And that's the same with marketing and ads. You need to see those messages multiple times, but how can you tell people multiple times about your message if there's no way to track them? So that's why we capture people's details, because we can email them. We also capture their details because we can do this thing called retargeting. Now, retargeting is where, think about when you went to somebody's website and then you went into Facebook and look at that, there's an ad from that business that I was just on their website. If you ever had that happen, that is because you might have seen an ad and go onto their website, and then they would have tracked you, and then you went somewhere else, and then you would have seen another ad, and then you come back here. And it's just that way to bring people back, to prompt them again. So the way that we do that, the way that it's so intelligent that they do that, is when they come to your website that first time, they will tag you with some code, right? It's all in the back end. It's all a little bit tricky. You learn about this as when you're learning social media. But on Facebook, there's this thing called the Facebook Pixel. That's how Facebook knows where you've been. Google has one called Google Tag Manager. That's how they track you in, that's how they can retarget you in things like YouTube, right? And in terms of like the ads that you see on Google. I'll just put a reminder that everyone's on mute, so we can just hear a couple of people. In LinkedIn, there's one called Campaign Manager, and the same thing happens in Snapchat. What they do is every time you come to a website, you get tagged with this code, and it's kind of like you would have heard cookies back in the day. It means that when you go to other places, they start tracking you, and it allows them to put more ads in front of you to entice you to come back to their website. So here's what an example of a retargeting lead magnet page is, right? So this is a company called SAP Litmus. Now, at some point, I would have landed on their page, but I didn't do anything. I would have come in via, let's say, a blog. I was reading a blog. Something was of interest. I noticed something was interesting. I clicked on the link. I landed on their page. I was like, oh yeah, that's cool. Didn't do anything. Went off and did my next thing. And the next thing you know, I'm presented with an ad from that company in my LinkedIn account that says, using learning to improve customer experience. It's a white paper. Learn how companies with very high customer satisfaction use training to create better experiences. Now, this is relevant to me because I was just on their site. So think about it. This ad wouldn't necessarily go out to everybody. It just goes to the people who are on their site. So it means that they're targeting people who have an interest in their product in some way. And what I can do is I can download this free white paper to use my learning strategy to improve customer experience. And by clicking this download button, I get a white paper, right? A research paper that talks to this particular topic. And in order to actually download it, I would have to insert my contact details. And it's a way for them to start getting more and more information on me so that they can learn more about me and keep trying to sell to me. So that would have been, I would have landed here on the site. The next thing you know, I get served an ad because I came from that site, and they're pushing me back to the site because I didn't do what they wanted me to do that first time. The next thing that they're trying to get me to do is to convert. So now I've got this white paper. Now they want to push me down the funnel even more, not just to their website. They actually want to start selling the product to me. Now, the types of messages that I'm going to receive, once I get down to that granular level of this is the product that they're trying to sell me, are going to be different. Because now, rather than trying to sell me on their expertise as a business, they're going to try and sell me a product. And this is based on people who haven't bought yet, right? They've come and they've showed an interest, and what I've been showing them isn't quite enough to convert me. So now they're trying to sell a little bit harder to me. So now they're sending me to the product page, where they want even more details on me so that they can ensure that what they're trying to sell me is exactly what, something to solve a problem that I have. So in this particular example is the product Hootsuite. Now, Hootsuite, if you're not aware, is a social media scheduling tool. It also provides insights and it helps you manage pages, social media pages, whether it be Facebook, LinkedIn, that sort of thing. Now, what they're doing now is rather than sending me just to their website, they're sending me to the product page. Because what they want to do is they're like, okay, we're ready to actually, sell this product to me. And what they're trying to do, they're trying to entice me to fill in these details and request a demo. Now that's still saying, look, don't have to buy from us yet, but here, why don't you have a free trial perhaps? Or you can request a demo in this example. You might want to register for a webinar with us. Or you might want to book a call with somebody just so you can have a conversation. And just, we can help you just answer any of those questions that you might have. You're not quite ready to buy yet, but we're just going to help you along the way. So let's show you what this whole pathway looks like. You type in Dollar Shave Club into Google. You see this ad. You click on the ad and it takes you to this page, right? Now, you might not have bought yet. You might see that page and like, yeah, that's nice. And off you go and do something else. They know that you didn't buy from their site. So now they're reminding you again and again in Facebook and in Instagram, all because you landed here and they put that little code that we saw on the other page. And now they're following you like a bit of a stalker in Facebook. They're following you in Instagram and they're like, come on here. Here's free shipping. Is that enough to get you to buy from us? What about actually getting some user-generated content, seeing other people use our product? Is that enough for you to buy from us? So this is a way that they follow you, right? And you'll start to see this now. You'll see an ad and you would have gone to a website and now you're going to start seeing, oh crap, there's that ad from that website that I was just at. And now you know that they were tracking you. So here's an example of once they get their contact details, right? You signed up for that PDF, you registered for that webinar. They have your email details now. And now what you're going to do is rather than just sending people emails willy-nilly, you want to take people on a journey. right? You're trying to convince them to buy your product. So what you want to do is you want to set up an email sequence. So rather than having to manually send an email to every single person that loads, that you get an email address from, you want to set up an email sequence that triggers automatically, so that once they get the email address, right, they are going to immediately get sent the first email. It could be like, thanks for subscribing, here's our latest newsletter. Or it could be, thanks for subscribing, here's that PDF that you wanted. And then you can actually set up these sequences with little rules in them that says, okay, so they get this email, what we want you to do, system, we want you to wait 1 week, and then we want you to send this other email in a week's time. And for this one, it says week 1, growing with your baby, right? We know that they have subscribed, they haven't bought from us yet, so we're just going to start to teach them the things a little bit. And then next week, after a week, we're going to send them another email. And all of this is automated. And it's designed to send people on a journey to convince them to buy your product. See, we follow people through ads, and when we get their email address, we're also going to send them a whole bunch of emails as well. Now think about all the emails that you get and all the ads that you get. You don't remember every single email. You don't read every single email that you get, and you don't really read every single ad. That's why at the moment it sounds like we're really bombarding them, but people are so used to receiving ads and messages that we block out a lot of them. So in order for us to have cut through, we have to be doing things here and here, because I, as a user, might only remember one ad, or I might only read one email. And so I need this information to be repetitive, like multiple times, frequency, being, having these messages coming at me. But at the same time, don't think that you're bombarding them too much either. But also that the emails and the ads that you're giving them are something that appeals to your audience. Because what happens is if you email them, say, too much, and it's not really valuable, they're just going to unsubscribe. And then you just kind of wasted the whole lead. So let's just say we did actually convince someone to buy. We sent them all these emails, or they came back through the ad and they clicked on, they're like, fine, yeah, love free delivery. I know, I'm a fan. When I get free delivery, I'm like sold, right? Then you want to send them to the checkout page, right? You've added it to cart, you want to buy. Now it's like, let's get that sale. There are ads and there are email sequences to get people to convert and to get them and drive them back to that checkout page. Let's just say you were on the website and you clicked to buy, but then you were like, yeah, no, something happened, distracted me, and I didn't actually make the purchase. You would then send them some reminder ads, and you can send them different ads than you did here because of this code that we have tracking you. I can see that you came here and you came here, but you didn't buy. So here I'm like, okay, the ads that you see now are going to be a little bit different because it's trying to get me to just go over that line a little bit more. And the messages in email are going to be a little bit different. And it's all based on the behavior that you take throughout the site. All of these ads are different messages. They're not the same ads, right? Based on where you are in the buying process or not in the buying process. Same with the email sequences. The emails you'll send to them when they first opt in to your email list will be different if you see that they've come to product pages and they've come to the checkout page. Then the emails are going to be a little bit more direct in terms of buying and trying to get them to make that purchase. And that's where we get to the checkout page. You can actually have your Facebook and Instagram ads go straight to a checkout page. It's up to you where your ads go. And you can have an ad that is presented to people who are ready to buy, right? They've come to the checkout page, but you know that they didn't purchase. And there are little rules you can set up. And so that the ad that they see was like, hey, you left something in your cart. And then when they click on that ad, it will take them straight here rather than having to faff about at the home page and navigate their way through. Because when it comes to this digital marketing space, every time someone clicks, Every time you make someone click, with each new click, people will start to drop off. So you want to make it as easy as possible and just put the checkout page in front of them so they know exactly what to do. So what would that ad look like, right? That ad is literally, what is that thing that just didn't get you to buy? Maybe if I offered you a discount, right? That's going to get you to buy. You got all the way to the checkout page, but you didn't buy. They're a bit easier to convert than if they just landed at their website, to start with. So all I need to do is offer those people, just those people, that little group of people, not everybody, just that little group of people. All I have to do is offer them a discount and then they'll come back. So if you see an ad like that that will allow that person to hit the get offer, and that will take them straight to that checkout page. So now you're on that checkout page and you put your credit card details in and you hit submit, you hit buy now. Then what you want to do is you want to set up that thank you page and what we call an upsell page. So have you ever been on people's websites and you've bought something, and then after you bought, they would have tried to sell you something else, and it's usually at a massive discount? And that's because once someone has bought from you, they have a high level of trust, and to get them to buy more is a lot easier than it is to convince people who are up here, right, and have only just landed on your website, let alone people who are just, searching for you up here. The more people go through this funnel, the more they engage and come back and go out and come back and go out and come back, the hotter they are, the warmer they are. And all we need to do is we need to talk to them a little bit differently than we would to the people up here. And even once they buy, we could get them to buy something else on top of that quite easily, because we've taken all that effort to get them to trust us to buy something. And now, it's a little bit easier to say, okay, you've just bought from us. How about if you want to buy something else and we'll give you 50% off that? Because I've spent all this time and effort getting them here that I don't need to spend any more money. I can just add a message to my thank you page. So let's take a look at some examples. So this is a t-shirt business. When we look at these numbers and things like that, when we look at this system here of how we get social media marketing to drive traffic to our site, whether that's through paid or organic or through search or email, referral, direct, then as we funnel people through and trying to get them to buy, right? And some people will land on your website and buy straight away. I've done that. I'm sure you have too. But what you don't want to do is if they say no that first time, you don't want that to go to waste. You just know that you just need to tell there's something else that didn't quite hit with them. And you just have to kind of convince them each step of the way to get them to go over the line and buy from you. So now when we look at, okay, you've designed a system where this is all flowing. How does this look like in terms of money and revenue for the business? Now think of it like this. You've got a t-shirt business and the price of that t-shirt is $50. That's how much you sell it for. It costs you $20 to make the t-shirt and to deliver the t-shirt because you got free shipping. That means that you make a profit of $30 per t-shirt. Let's just say someone buys 2 t-shirts from you, right? That's $30 profit from that purchase. Now, remember we spoke about customer lifetime value? Let's just say as your t-shirt business, you know that of everyone who buys from you, they'll usually come back again and buy again. Some people will come like 4 times. A lot of people will only buy once. But on average, that averages out to 2 purchases. And on average, they'll buy 2 t-shirts. That customer lifetime value to you is $120. Now that's important because it's important to know lifetime value, because this whole process, that one time is just going to do that one sale, and it could just be 1 t-shirt. It might not be the 2 t-shirts. But because this system exists and people are coming in and they're being retargeted, more traffic's coming in, people are converting, right? It's like a little system that happens. That over time, that even though in this example they just may buy once, from your data and knowing who your customers are, that the value to get that person, like the value to your business, is actually $120 profit, which is pretty good, rather than the $50 they might have bought in that first time. Then you have to know how much you want to spend to get that purchase. That's called CPA, or cost per acquisition, right? This is the process. You're like, okay, I want to run some ads, and I want to run these ads, and I want to do this paid search, but how much money should I put towards it? That's why knowing your numbers is super important. Even the organic social, right? You're still paying money because you have to pay somebody, right? If you're the social media manager, you're putting hours into creating posts. If you're a content writer, you want to rank highly in Google, so you're writing blog posts to get people to rank highly. You could be the email marketer that is writing the emails to help, convert people. All of this is time and money, and you need to know how much to spend in order to get the sale. And the aim is you don't want to spend more than what you earn. But what you don't want to do is calculate the purchase at $50 and be like, okay, well then I only want to spend, say, $20. You need to understand that, because in this system, and I know I'm flipping back and forth, some of these, as soon as you capture their email address, this doesn't cost you as much as this does. So you can do email marketing to them. So then, okay, you might spend a little bit more here, because that once they buy from you, then you might put them again into an email sequence when you've got your next sale coming up, and you can get them to buy another time from you. That's why it's really important to understand your numbers and how this system works, that social media marketing system works, because you need to know how much does it cost you to get someone through that funnel to buy from you. And if in this example it costs $60, you don't want to say that's too expensive because they only bought one t-shirt that one time, because that based on all the people that come to your website, you're actually going to make $120 profit from them. So you want to know that you don't want to exceed or spend more than $60 to get that purchase. You might make a loss on that first purchase, but you know that they're going to keep coming back because you've created this awesome little system that continually works, right? Because you've set up these little rules here and these little rules there and these little rules there, that it all does it automatically. So here's another example. You might see an ad on, a post on social media or an email. So when I was saying before, they made that first purchase and then you want to create emails to them over here, right? And then they bought from you. Once you have their email address and you're posting on social, you might not want to send them to the website. You know how the website was sitting there? If you have a sale on t-shirts, don't send them to your homepage. You're going to start sending them to the product page, because they bought from you before. They have a trust with you, right? Because they've bought from you. So you don't have to spend all your time and money sending them through this process. You're going to understand where they are in the decision-making journey as a customer of yours. And you can save all of this time and money and just go, okay, we've got a sale on this particular t-shirt, and send them straight to the checkout page or the product page, because you don't have to do all this convincing up here of who you are and what you sell. You know that if you just sent them an email with a sale, or, hey, we have a new t-shirt in stock, or you post on social media and be like, hey, here's our new t-shirt, you can send them straight to the product page. If we use that as an example, you've got the new t-shirt that comes in, you send them an email and you post on social media about it, it comes here, and everybody comes to the product page, but they don't necessarily buy and they go somewhere else. Okay, well, let's follow them in Facebook and show them some ads about that t-shirt and remind them that that t-shirt's new. And if we tell them that there's limited stock left, or it's a limited print run, that's going to remind me to actually come back. So I'm going to see that ad, click on the ad and come back here, and I'm going to buy it. Same with that email sequence. I've come to this page, then I might send them an email sequence about that new shirt. Then that email is going to direct people back to the product page, back to the t-shirt page, not the t-shirt website page, right? To that specific t-shirt page. And then I'm going to buy, and then I get that thank you page, and I might try to sell them another t-shirt at half price. There's just a process, right? That you want to set up this process that people are coming in and out, all based on their activity and how they're behaving on your website. So if we use a gym, for example, so think of it how this might work with a gym membership, right? The t-shirt business is what we call e-commerce. You go to the website, there's products that are on sale. Whereas a gym is a little bit different. So the way that the gym makes money is you have to pay a membership fee, right? So it's $100 per user per month to come to this gym. It doesn't cost you each month because it's not a product, it's $0 for cost of goods sold, right? You do have operating costs as a business. So technically, the profit per user or per member is $100. And if you know that your members, once you sign them up as a member, they stay with you on average for 24 months, you will make $2,400 from them in their lifetime with your business. So again, when it comes to setting a budget for how much you want to invest in the system, whether that's the ads that you place, whether that's the time that you put into the organic social pages, whether that's the time and money you pay for all the emails to get sent out, you know that you can spend a maximum of $1,200 per user, per acquisition. And so if you think about how you might work this back in reverse, you're like, okay, well, I want 10 customers per month. And I know that when I get 10 customers per month and they stay for 24 months, I can make this much money from them. Therefore, my budget per month is going to be this. So the way that this system would work would be a little bit different than it would for, say, our product. So again, we have traffic drivers, right? All of these different things drive traffic to our website. People come to the website and they don't navigate down here yet, but they've come to the website. So we're going to remind them with some ads to bring them back here to do the things we want them to do. And I might offer them something of value with this lead magnet. So then I want them to opt in, and I'm going to send them to this product page because there's a special 8-week program that I want them to sign up for. So I'm going to send them to this product page, which is like the 8-week program. And they come here, but they don't necessarily buy. So I'm going to send them some emails to tell them why the 8-week program is so great and why they should be signing up. And at the same time, I'm going to be sending them some ads, which are reminders for them to come back and buy this thing, because look at so-and-so who lost 12 kilos doing my 8-week program, right? And I'm going to see that. I'm going to be like, yes, I want that. So I'm going to click back here onto the product page. I still might not buy. And if I don't buy, it's because I'm going to send them some more ads to get them to come back here again. And I'm going to keep reading these emails that they're sending me about why I need to join this 8-week program. Now, what I might do just to get that sale over the line is I might offer them, well, you know what, you haven't bought yet. If you come into the gym, I'm going to offer you a free gym session. And I'm like, sold. I love a freebie. I know that I'm going to get something for free, so I'm going to buy it. And that is a conversion, and I'm going to get a thank you page. Great, thanks so much for buying. If you refer us to your friend's going to get 25% off, and you're going to get this freebie as well if you refer a friend. And so imagine how much extra business they're going to get if I refer a friend. They don't have to spend any money on marketing for my friend because I'm going to tell them to come and buy. So when it comes to actually putting all of this together and understanding where people are in the system, whether they're seeing you for the first time as a business at the awareness stage, you're trying to convince them to buy at the consideration stage, or you're getting to convert them at the conversion stage, there's lots of different ads and social media posts and all of that going on. You need to be able to set these budgets, right? You need to know how much you need to spend and how much you have to spend in order to make money, in order to convert people and still come out with a profit. So it's really important to understand numbers, because if you have, as a business, ambitious targets to get 100 customers, but you're only spending like $5 a day, that's not really, we can work the numbers, but you can kind of see how $5 a day really isn't going to be enough. And that is why it's super important to know your numbers. Know how much profit you're making per product per month. Know what the customer lifetime value is for your customer. Know how much it costs you to acquire a customer. And also, in the back of your mind, you want to know the maximum that you want to spend. Because if your customer lifetime value is $7,200, which it is in this example, and you're kind of playing around trying to put these ads up and you're spending more than $7,200, you're losing money. And the other thing to remember is, with a customer lifetime value, you don't get the $7,200 up front, right? In the example of the t-shirt business, those 2 purchases or 4 purchases or however many purchases it makes the average lifetime value, that might take place over a year. So you don't want to spend $7,200 in month 1. Or if you do, you need to know that you're going to have to find the money in a marketing budget somewhere, knowing that it's all going to even out at the end. And I'm sure you're sitting here going, well, I don't know how much my customer lifetime value is. This is where really digging deep into the data of your business is super important. And if you're a new business or you're working for a new business, you have to kind of allow for a bit of testing, right? You have to run some data to start seeing what's happening. And these numbers are going to fluctuate over time. But understanding those numbers and reporting on those numbers, most importantly, to say, look, based on the activity that we did, not only did we get engagement on our social media posts, but the social media activity drove traffic to our website. And because we can track people on the website, I can also see who bought because of the activity that we did. And so therefore, our social media marketing activity generated this much revenue. Then that's really valuable when it comes to showing how social media marketing can provide a return on investment for business. So again, here's this social media marketing process document that I showed you at the beginning, which I'm sure looked a little bit scary to start with. And I'm hoping now makes a bit more sense. To take you through what that looks like again. Now think about how you behave on social, right? Think about how you behave as a consumer. You type something into Google and it drives you to a website. You might see a Google ad somewhere and it drives you to a website, right? Traffic driving to the website. Because you can't just build a website and hope people are going to find it. You have to do activity to send people to your website. That's what traffic driving is all about. It's super important. And by ensuring that you're targeting the right people here to get them to the website is super important. Because if you're targeting just females and you're, posting content that a male is going to resonate with, they're not going to buy from your site. You need to make sure that you're, driving the right traffic to your website as well. And then once they come to your site, based on their activity and what they do and where they navigate to and how they behave on your website, you can start convincing them at where they are in the buying cycle, right? As they get further and further down, you're going to start telling them different messages to get them to take that next step to buy, You might get them down here, but you just can't get them over the line. And so then you might send them that ad with a bit of a discount voucher. And then you're like, you know what? I haven't used them before. I've got a discount voucher. That just convinced me to buy. And that is how using social media marketing, right? And all through here is going to help you generate money and revenue for your business. And that is how you justify and show a return on investment from social media marketing activity. We're still posting on social. We're still trying to be engaging. We're still wanting likes and things like that. But we're wanting them from the right people so that we can send them to our website. And by the right people, I mean our customers, the people who our products serve. If we're talking about the gym, we don't really want to be sending, putting content out there and posting ads to someone like my mother who will never set foot in a gym. We need to be targeting the right people. And by driving the traffic through to your website and sending them little reminders in the form of retargeting ads based on where they are in the buyer's journey and getting them to buy, this is how social media marketing becomes super powerful and how you become very valuable to a business when it comes to justifying return on investment and helping a business grow. So that's pretty much it, guys. That's how to monetize social media, how we turn followers into dollars, how we actually funnel people through a process to convert people from whether that's our organic social pages, it could be through ads or search. There's all these different ways that we can use social media to convince people to buy and to monetize that social media marketing activity.
Thank you, Tamara. That was really, really good. That was like a very practical presentation, and I think our students really enjoyed it. We have received a few questions, and I'm going to invite the participants now to send a few more if you do have some. And also, just once again, if you are interested in the Diploma of Social Media Marketing, please leave your name and your email, and we'll send you some more information about that. And if you're one of our partner agents and you have a question as well, please leave your details and your agency name, and we'll get back to you as well. So the first question we have, Tamara, is from Tamara as well, another Tamara. And she asks, which paid search would you say is the most useful?
So this is like asking how long is a piece of string. It's kind of like there is no one answer. It's the same with saying what's the most useful social, like paid social channel. It all depends on the type of business that you have. And essentially it's understanding who your ideal client is, like who your ideal customer is, and where do they reside, right? I can sit there and say there's a certain type of traffic driver or even channel that's more useful. But if I'm targeting a certain type of person and they're not hanging out in those areas, they're never going to see my message to begin with. And that's what you learn, right? As you become a social media marketer, you will learn to identify who your customers are. Not just who they are, like their age and where they live. How do they think? What's their personality type? What influences them? All of that is important, not their age and whether they're male or female and where they live. It's actually, are they a stay-at-home mum that has to also consider their husband in making a buying decision? Is that, we all have these different clients and customers that we're trying to target. And they all have different things that happen in their own life before they even think about our business. And by understanding them and who they are, which you learn as you do this course, you will learn to understand your customers, and therefore you will understand where they are, where they reside. And that's when you start to choose your channel mix and your marketing mix. You will say, okay, organic search, yes. Maybe paid search isn't going to be part of our plan. Maybe it's going to be paid social. Maybe email marketing is not part of it. That's just all the traffic drivers. Maybe you're just going to focus on 3 of them, and that's where your customers are going to come from.
Great. So
that's what you work through.
So it's like learning how to properly reach your audience.
Yeah.
So the next question is also from Tamara. She said, does Facebook, Instagram, and all the platforms that use paid social media, do they all do segmentation for you so that you can get to your audience? Do they all offer that kind of?
It's so powerful. It's crazy. I could do like an hour session just on targeting. So of all the social media channels, Facebook, Instagram, so Facebook owns Instagram, has one of the most powerful. When you say segmentation, it will blow your mind how intelligent the segmentation can be. Not just male, female, not just ages. I can target somebody whose birthday is going to take place in the next 7 days. I can target somebody who has a close friend whose birthday is going to happen in the next 7 days. Imagine that.
That's
Imagine putting an ad that says, hey, and you would have seen this. And I love it when ads talk to just me, right? And I think that they're super intelligent. And I got one for my birthday last year, and it was like, hey, happy birthday week. And I'm like, how on earth did they know it was my birthday? Right? It's like, happy birthday week. You know, and it's a cafe I've never known, I've never heard of before. Come and get a free coffee this week, and you'll get, you know, come into our shop this week, you'll get a free coffee. Mate, I hightailed it down into that cafe because I just love the fact that it spoke to me and it had this cool little GIF on it. And now I frequent their place a lot. Their lead magnet to me was a free coffee, right? Because they're a bricks and mortar store. Why am I going to give them my email details? They gave me an ad. They knew it was my birthday and it was a little treat. I went to the store. They treated me like royalty when I was there. They sang happy birthday. It was amazing. And then now I go back again. That's how they did it with me, because they're bricks and mortar. You can do it based on interests. You can say, okay, people, I work for a company, I work for a client that has a tarot business. She teaches people tarot courses. You can target people who like tarot. And then what gets even more powerful, you can upload databases. You can upload your database into Facebook, and you can send ads just to that database, so to your existing customers. And then it gets even more powerful. You can upload your database, and then Facebook, because it's crazy powerful and knows so much about you, you can say, okay, if these are my customers, because I have the data on them, can you show me people who are just like them, but they're not my customers? And then based on the algorithm and all the information that Facebook knows about you, they will say, okay, well, they have these things in common. And so here's a whole bunch of people that have the same things in common. So here's an audience for you. And that's called a lookalike audience. And that's where it gets even more powerful. So it's like demographics, interests, custom data. You can target fans that are fans of your page. You can target people who have an interest in another person, like Gary Vaynerchuk. You can say, okay, I want to send my ads to people who like Gary Vaynerchuk. There's so many targeting options. It gets really super powerful. And then you can layer them on top of each other if you want to get really tricky.
Great.
Yeah.
We've got another question from Nicole, who said, which CRM do you prefer? I use ActiveCampaign myself with Access Ally for my website learning platform.
Okay, so I love those two platforms. So with most clients, because I deal with a lot of small to medium businesses, ActiveCampaign is great because it's so super easy. Its pricing is really good, and it will scale with you. So when you get more customers, it'll scale at an affordable price. But you know what, depending on your business model, so I tend to lean towards ActiveCampaign just as a default. But again, it's not the platform, right? You need to understand what your business needs are first. And so Access Ally, for those that don't know, is like a learning platform, but then it has all these little offshoot things that you don't have to buy all these other platforms, and it's like an all-in-one solution. But Access Ally wouldn't be needed for a cafe, right? So you've got HubSpot and you've got Entreport. They're pretty expensive. So if you're a bigger business that has more powerful needs, you go for those kind of bigger ones, and it's worth the investment. But ActiveCampaign is a really great one to start with, because if you want to build out, you know how I was talking about the email series, that's an automation. It's so good. You go, here's the email plus 2 days. Here's this email. And you literally drag and drop the thing, and then you write the emails, and then you make the thing live. And you say, everybody who comes into my list gets this email series, and then it's all automated. It's the easiest one.
Great. We did get a question about how to watch the Zoom recording later on. We're going to edit the video and then email it out to the attendees from this session, and probably post it on our social media as well. We have another question from Leonardo, who said, can you please explain the technicality of tracking customers from social media to your webpage?
Yeah. Okay. So this is, again, all the stuff you'll learn in the course. And at first it sounds really hard, right? I was even talking to someone about it yesterday, and then I showed them and they were like, it's actually pretty easy. So what will happen is, to track people, you first have to get them to somewhere that you can tag them, right? So that's why it's important to drive traffic to your site. Now, when they come to your site, you will have that Facebook pixel installed. You will have, say, the Google Tag Manager. That's installed in the back end of your website. And what happens is, people come to the website, and because they're there, it's like a cookie, and it tags them. So then when they go out again, you can follow them. So when it comes to setting up the ad in Facebook, you go into your business manager, which is where you would run the ads and set up the ads. You can open it up and say, okay, look, here's my pixel. And you can create audiences from that. And you can say, I want to target everybody that's been to my website in the last 20 days. You can actually go as far back as 180 days. You can even say, because the pixel is on every single page of your website. You can set up these, so that's the base pixel, and a pixel is like a unique code that you get when you open up a Facebook ad account, and it's unique to you. It's like your Facebook fingerprint. You install that on your website. And then there are these things called standard events, and they're little snippets of code, and you might drop them on certain pages on your website. Because remember when I said that you track people's behavior? It's like, okay, you've got this pixel, but how do you know that someone went to a product page? How do you know that someone added to cart but did not buy? That's what these extra little snippets of code are. So you'll put those snippets of code onto certain pages that only the people that make that do the action will get. And again, you learn all of this. This is all about tracking, and it's one of the most important elements of a social media manager. There's no point doing all this activity if you can't track it and report on it and make intelligent decisions. So you'll get these little snippets of code, and they'll go on certain pages that when you go to build your ad, you're going to say, okay, I want to send an ad to people who not only came to my website, but they added to cart. Think of you as a user. How many times do you add something to your shopping cart and then you're like, nah, and you don't finish it, right? They're really close to buying. If you send an ad to just those people, and it's usually a small amount of people, you could just send them a little reminder and they'll most probably come back and buy from you. And so you'll learn all about taking people through the customer journey and how you talk to them differently based on the activity. So again, in the ads manager, you'll say, okay, I want to find, the pixel will tell you, right, based on the activity. It's going to say, I want people who bought from me. Imagine sending an ad to people who have bought from you before and said, you know what, as a loyal customer, we're going to give you 20% off just to our loyal customers. How easy is it going to be to send people back to your site? Now, the reason why this is so important is because if you have a limited marketing budget, if you send a message to just any man and his dog, that's like a waste of money because not everyone's going to be your customer. But imagine sending an ad to people who have just bought from you, and that could be like 2,000 people over the last couple of years, right? They know, like, and trust you. They've bought from you. They know that you're legit. They've used your product. They love you. So you just have to pay to send these guys an ad, not millions of people your ad, just these people. Then your budgets are less because you're targeting super highly engaged people. And then you just entice them back with an offer. That could be a discount, it could be a sale, it could be you've just launched a new product. And that's all what the pixel does. So you'll learn how to install the pixel, you'll understand what it does, the power of it, how you can create different audiences and why that's important, and why it's important to talk to these audiences differently. Because they're at different stages of the journey, right? I'm not going to ask someone to marry me on the first date. I'm going to go on a date. I'm going to go on another date. I'm going to show them how awesome I am. I'm going to do this. Then I'm going to ask them to marry me, right? Because the message up here is not going to be effective. They're going to think I'm a stalker, right? Down here, I've kind of warmed them up a little bit, right? Now I can ask them to marry me and it works. They're going to say yes. So if you think of it like that, that's how you would play around with it.
Nice analogy. Okay, another question from Lucia, who said, would you suggest using a landing page in an Instagram bio to drive traffic for a healthy lifestyle, nutrition products kind of business?
Yeah, so here's the thing, and you'll learn as you do the course, you'll learn about the different types of businesses there are, and therefore the different types of funnels you want to make. So everything is a funnel, right? You're taking people from here and you're funneling them through where you want to go. So if you're a healthy lifestyle business on Instagram and you want to send people to your site, the great thing about having a landing page is usually you want them to focus on one thing. If you send them to your website, they'll get distracted by this blog article and that blog article and this thing and this thing that I did. You're like, okay, I just want to get their details so I can get them on my email list. So to do that, you'll go, okay, healthy lifestyle business, I'm going to create an ebook that has all these exercises, or it's going to be a meal planning, like a meal planning for the week. because I know who my ideal audience is and I know that they're health conscious. So I want to offer them something of value. And so that would be my lead magnet. And rather than sending them to my site to figure out where it is on all the pages, I'm going to send them to my landing page. So then therefore, when you're posting on social media and you're like, hey, don't forget to pick up my free PDF, link in bio, the link takes you just to the landing page. And the only thing that's on that landing page is download the free PDF, feel good, plan this, benefit, 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 email details here. I don't get distracted by anything else on your website. And then therefore, you know, we get distracted by things every day. I've got like my mother asking me this. I've got my dog doing this. I've got this happening. The phone rings. You want to get them and you want to get them fast so that they can go on with life. So a landing page helps you just do one thing as opposed to your website, which is going to distract them. Because then they see this article and they're like, ooh, and then they have to go somewhere and then they don't come back to your website again. That's why landing pages are so important.
Interesting. I've got another question from Julian who said, what's the recommended percentage of similarity in a lookalike audience?
I think you mean like percentage of lookalike. So, okay, this is like, I can talk about this forever. So in theory, you want to start off with a 1% lookalike, right? But as part of your strategy, and this depends on how many people you want to target and what your goals are in terms of customers, you know, 1% of a lookalike. So the way the lookalikes work is you have a database, right? You might upload a customer list and then you say, okay, I need the percentage that's closest match to this. And so you'd start off with 1%. But let's just say you have a really big marketing budget and that 1% is going to, like, you're going to eat through that budget really quickly. You want to expand that to say 2%. So I build out 1% each percent. So rather than going first 5%, I'll go 0 to 1%, 1 to 2%, 2 to 3%, and I'll have multiple audiences and then I'll stack them, based on my budget. But then as Facebook's algorithm is getting more and more intelligent, then now there's this thing where it's like, you know what, as it really likes broad audiences. So sometimes testing, and this is what you'll learn when it comes to running your ads, you want to test, you might test 1% against 3 to 4% because it's a bigger audience. And sometimes the algorithm is a bit more intelligent than you are. And it also depends on how good your custom audience is. If you only have 100 people, that is enough to create a lookalike. But imagine if you had 1,000 people in that custom, then Facebook knows more and more about them. So it does depend on how robust this custom is. But then you also want to be testing audiences here because sometimes you exhaust this audience and you need to find customers elsewhere. So the next best thing is the bigger audience, but I always start off with 1% because it's the closest match.
Okay, awesome. I think we'll just end with one more question. And I know that there are a couple of unanswered questions, but like I said, we're going to send you guys all of those questions with the written answers at the end of the session. So the final question, if you retarget people with ads, but they choose to ignore them, will the ad remain visible in their feed until they click on the ad, or does it depend on the ad duration?
So you set the time limit. So you can say, I want this ad, I want to target people who have been to my site for a certain amount of days. But then you can also say, once they've hit this many days, I'm going to send them this other ad. Or you just close the time limit off. So again, depending on what you're selling, if it's a car, right, that is a big price point. Someone's not going to see one ad and then buy. So you need to hit them up continuously. But if the product is a low price point, it's easier. I'm more open to buying something at a lower price point. I don't have to think about it as much. So if it's a low price point product, you don't want to hit them up multiple times. There's some point you just have to go, you know what, after 2 weeks of seeing this ad, they're not interested, or I have to send them something else, a different ad. Mm-hmm. And you set those timings as part of your ad strategies, part of your funnel strategy. You'll set timings on these.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Tamara. It's been really eye-opening hearing about all of this. And I think our students really enjoyed it. It was definitely, I think, one of our biggest ever masterclasses. A great job. And thank you again. And if anybody is interested in learning more about this qualification, you can jump on our website, have a chat with somebody on our live chat. It's in the bottom right-hand corner of the page. If you've added your email, we will send you some information as well. And if you're a partner agent, you can still add something on there, or contact us on live chat or by email, and we can give you more information. So thank you so much, Tamara.
No worries. Thank you so much for having me. Thanks, guys.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.